In 1991, longtime educator and professor at the Eastman School of Music, Dr. Roy Ernst, started a new project based on the philosophy that anyone can learn to play music at any age. He called it the New Horizons Band. Now, some 23 years later, the New Horizons program has expanded across the U.S. and beyond, with over 200 chapters now thriving and enriching the lives of people of all ages. Here in West Michigan, the New Horizons program is directed by Dr. Nancy Summers, who took the helm 13 years ago and has built this chapter from one small band to 6 major performing ensembles. This weekend, the West Michigan New Horizons Music Ensembles celebrates its 15th anniversary with a gala banquet and their annual spring concert. And we are honored to have here in our studio with us this morning Nancy Summers and Roy Ernst. And welcome to both of you. Thanks for taking a few minutes out of a very busy week.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much, Bonnie.
I've been looking forward to this so much, so I really appreciate this. Roy Ernst, I'd like to begin with you. I'm personally familiar with the philosophy, but why don't you just share with our listeners the philosophy behind New Horizons and, maybe some of the ideas that inspired you?
Well, I was thinking about this in the 1980s, and it might be hard to imagine now, but at that time, it seemed to me that there weren't enough stimulating activities for retired people. And I was thinking about all of the good things that school kids get from being in a band. They're part of a group, they're always contributing, and they have things to look forward to, like concerts, maybe going to band camps. And I thought about how good that would be for retired people to have those things and how much it could improve the quality of their lives. At that time, it was widely believed that if you didn't start music as a child, you missed your chance to do it. And I didn't believe that. And about 20% of students participated in their high school programs during the 1950s and 60s. And to me, that meant that about 80% of the population would need beginning instruction if they were going to be in a musical group. Mm-hmm. So the purpose of New Horizons is to provide an entry point for those people who need to start as beginners, or for people who loved playing in their school groups during high school and have been doing other things for many, many years and now need a comfortable re-entry point. That's the special mission of New Horizons that sets it aside from other community bands.
It really does, and there's no audition requirement. Anybody.
Absolutely not. We welcome anyone, and great surprise, everyone is able to succeed at a level that's very satisfying to them.
And Nancy, the chapter now 15 years old. Of course, you've been with them for 13 years. And first of all, congratulations.
Thank
what
you.
You've accomplished, to both of you, really. Can you recall some of the early goals? Because I know you set goals. So can you? I know that. I know that about Nancy. Yeah. Can you recall some of the very early goals you set for the organization, and did you have any idea of its potential when you started?
Well, let me answer the first. No, I did not have any idea how well we could become a unit, how fast we could grow, how musically we could attain such great levels. The goals were pretty simple. Let's get together, let's play on the beat, let's play in tune, let's make some music and have a great time. Not necessarily in that order. There's a socialization that goes with this. It's very important to us to create the bonds that Roy was just talking about, the connections. And by doing that and being on the same team, so to speak, we're challenging ourselves as individuals to get better and better. So the goals were simple, to create that atmosphere. And surprisingly, the ones involved right at that time shared the experience with others, and soon the doors were opening for more and more people to come in.
It's been a wonderful thing to watch and to witness that program grow. I remember it from its very early days, and I've been a big fan ever since.
Yes.
So, Roy, you're a flutist, and Nancy and I are oboes, so we've all had the experience of performing, in ensembles and presenting music to audiences, and we know also those magical moments that can happen in rehearsal sometimes, that you just can't put into words. So being part of something bigger than ourselves and playing in an ensemble really is not like anything else. So it must be really exciting, especially for those who join and have never played in an ensemble on stage for people before.
And that is so true. Those of us who have spent our life as musicians forget how special it is. And for people who come to this in retirement, perhaps, have been doing other things, they have such a terrific appreciation for what it is to do this, to be able to actually create music and to be doing it with other people. Mm-hmm. And I remember at one of the early concerts, I heard someone leaving the stage, and she said, "That's the first time anyone's ever applauded for me." Oh. How touching.
Oh. And we do take that for granted,
right.
Those of us who've played all our lives, but, wow, that's really telling, isn't it? It's a wonderful thing to hear. And I think sometimes when we go back to something later in life that we did when we were younger, we experience it at a deeper level, at a more meaningful level, and I think we bring something more to it. And these are people who've had, by and large, have had careers, they've raised families, they've run businesses, and they've, been professionals or just, worked in the factory all their lives, but they've done something all their lives, and
right.
So they bring that.
And the richness of that, yeah. the diversity of that is so terrific. And so we have people with all of this terrific life experience, and they come together to play music, and everybody's equal. Everybody's there to do the same thing. Everybody's listening carefully to everyone else, and it's a pretty terrific experience.
One of the cornerstones, I think, of your philosophy is your best is good enough. I've heard that said before, and I've seen it in print. And I think that's great, but I'm sure that it also presents some challenges for a conductor who has to choose the music something that everyone can play, and also just getting all these different levels of ability to sort of meld into a whole like that. And Nancy, you've done that very well, and I'm sure Dr. Ernst that you have too. And I'm just wondering, either one of you can feel this one. How do you do that?
I'll say something about that. First of all, no one realizes how much time a director spends researching music to find just the right music for a group, to bring out the strengths. And usually I think the music needs to be at a level that people have to reach for, mm-hmm. but it has to be within reach. And when you find that balance, people feel that they have accomplished something by doing it, and the musical results are very good. And when that doesn't happen correctly, it can be very frustrating in case it's too difficult, or it can make people feel unfulfilled if the music is too easy. So, Nancy, take it from there.
Well, absolutely. I agree with everything you said. What we experienced in Grand Rapids was an increase in level of ability, mm-hmm. as the one group that we had started to play harder and harder music. We did not have an entry level. So we created a second band as an entry level, and now we find ourselves in the position of having a group called Nancy's Novices, beginners, and a couple of them have come in with the instruments in the cases, opened the cases, and said, "Now what do I do?" And it's a very special, very unique situation. And we just added 2 more people in the last 2 weeks to that program, a father and daughter, which is just so fabulous. But as the challenges become simpler, then there's a graduated program mm-hmm. for the next level, move on up. Sure. And you're absolutely right about selecting music that needs to be rewarding, challenging so that we are constantly moving forward.
Right.
We try to do that.
Well, and the best, somebody's personal best, can get better and better and better, of course.
Indeed it does.
As they,
And at the very beginning, you can't believe how low the expectations were. So the very fact that a group of old people could get together and start learning musical instruments and play music that was recognizable was cheered. I mean, this was taken to be a major accomplishment. And now the New Horizons groups are getting so good and they play so well that indeed it's necessary to have beginning classes again. And actually, I love those beginning classes.
So do I.
That will always be very, very special to me.
sure.
People making their very first sounds on the instrument. I love that.
That's so exciting.
In fact, some of the more advanced groups that we have here in Grand Rapids know that Nancy's Novices is my favorite group because I do give them stickers at the end of every rehearsal. They get stickers. Oh, well, I didn't work that hard. Yes, you did. But to go back to your point about your best is good enough, I know when someone is not reaching for that personal best. I'm willing to accept what that limit is for that person. But on those days when you're not really trying, that is not good enough.
Right.
So there's a difference.
So you're going to push them. Absolutely. Absolutely. Otherwise, you'd have just a lot of understanding and a really bad band.
Yes.
As some conductor
No one wants that.
once said, yes.
No.
Well, my earliest memory of hearing the New Horizons band here in Grand Rapids, I don't know what I was expecting exactly. I knew that it would be something special because Nancy was conducting it. But no, it's true. But that band it blew me away. I mean, they played with such passion, and I was in tears. I mean, just to see these people who were, to me, that it hit me that evening that's the essence of music making, really. It's not about perfection. It's not about everybody being a professional musician. It's taking what music has inherently and making it your own.
What you're saying really strikes at the essence of it, in that one of the things New Horizons groups do especially well is play music with a great deal of feeling. We have people who bring a lot of life experience to the playing of music. After some of your family and friends have died and you've experienced joy, you've experienced struggle, you've experienced death, you can play differently.
Yeah.
And every now and then I'll see a group playing a piece with so much passion and people get through and they're crying. Yeah. And so one of the things that New Horizons bands are so good at is bringing all of that feeling into the music.
Music continues for life. It really does.
It does.
And it shouldn't. There should never be an end point where you say you're too old to play now. So it's such a wonderful program for that reason. I'm just wondering, the different chapters all around the country and in Canada, right? Each one's a little different, is what I'm getting at. Each one maybe is structured a little differently. Do you have like a structure that they need to follow, or?
Well, first of all, New Horizons is not a franchise.
Okay.
It's an idea. It's a concept that we give. And so I could say that there are no rules. And I was fortunate to be supported by the music industry in starting New Horizons programs. They allowed me to take 2 years off from the Eastman School of Music and gave me an unlimited expense account, and I traveled around the country starting New Horizons programs. And always I'd go to a new area and meet with people and talk about what are the resources of this area, and here is the concept, and I'm encouraging you to reinvent it for your area, depending on what your strengths are. And so if you were to look at all the New Horizons programs, they're quite different. There are no two that are very similar. And I think that's really a nice strength of our program.
That's great, yeah. Well, who knows, in the future we might have New Horizons bluegrass bands or rappers or something like that.
Well, actually, there is a New Horizons bluegrass band. Really? But I do like the idea of a New Horizons rap group, so you could get me interested in that.
Oh, no.
I've become pretty earthy in my old age.
Well, look, if they can do a flash mob, they can do
Yes.
that. So, Nancy, let's talk a little bit more about the festivities you have planned for this weekend, including, of course, the concert.
The concert is on Saturday evening at 7 p.m. Granville High School in Granville. That's 4700 Canal Southwest, I believe it is. The doors will be open an hour prior to that because we have a CD release event.
Yes.
Our very own Ransom Street Big Band, under, of course, the umbrella of West Michigan New Horizons Music, has... What can I say? We were here at Blue Lake in January recording with brilliant Steve Albert as the engineer, and the end result is we have a compact disc that we'll be introducing on Saturday evening at 6 o'clock. I hope people will come in and join in. We'll be playing a few selections from that CD. And then at 7 o'clock the concert begins. Tomorrow, the organization has the unique privilege of working with Dr. Roy Ernst in the morning in a dress rehearsal. He will be conducting on the concert. That's not news to you, is it?
No, it's not.
So we've been diligently preparing for that event, but we'll be meeting with him in the morning, and then in the evening we have a lovely banquet prepared. Just a fun weekend of celebration. 15 years is a very, very long time, and as our population is a little bit older than some might be, I think it's important for us to celebrate every milestone, and 15 years is certainly that.
Absolutely. It really is. Well, I feel as though I could talk with the two of you all morning, but I guess I can't really do that. But once again, congratulations to all of you and all of your wonderful people in New Horizons. We've been speaking today with Dr. Roy Ernst, who founded the New Horizons program in 1991, and Dr. Nancy Summers, who is the director of the West Michigan New Horizons Music Ensembles. And again, the concert is coming up on Saturday at 7 o'clock in Granville at the wonderful Granville High School Auditorium. So again, my thanks to both of you,